Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 156. This podcast is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we welcome back AER0KNIGHT and dive back into all the news about Forsaken. Excitement builds for Solstice of Heroes, and we talk about what we've been up to in our resets lately.
Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT, and of course, CyborgSasquatch. Hello, my friend.
Hello, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. I've missed you, buddy.
I almost thought for a second, wait, do I need to do the beginning part? But no,
I've missed you.
Job.
Every time this happens, it's like we realize we get to hear each other's voices once a week on the show. We don't talk a lot, like on the phone, or it's usually via text until we record. Yeah. So a lot of texting. Yeah,
it's good to have you back.
Weeks. Thanks, man. Yeah,
there's like so many things of like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this on the show with him.
There's been so much. I mean, the whisper, everything. Like, there's been so much stuff.
Crazy.
But it's been awesome as usual to be a listener. I even had to tweet it out. It's so cool just to listen to Destiny Reset. You guys killed it, man. And you by yourself 2 weeks ago. That was awesome, man. Very nice.
That was tough. That was the first time I've been nervous to record a show in a long time. I was like, all right,
150
don't screw this up.
By yourself.
It's all on you.
No, it's good, dude. It's really good. I'm sure everybody agrees. I'm sure. It's a good listen.
Had to keep the show. The show must go on.
Yes, you are right. It must. I'm glad to be back, though, man. Vacation was great. Family time was great. But
that's good.
Back to work. I appreciate you jumping in and doing the thing and covering and getting some cool guests on. But man, I'm excited to be back and chat with you about Destiny.
Yeah, and it's a great time to do that.
Yes, it is.
How about a quick announcement
of the solstice? Actually, as they're listening to this, it's already live. So
that's true.
Announcement: BitDead. You win, my friend. We already told you, and you already emailed us back. And as a matter of fact, you already have your blue loot. You chose Lola headphones. You won our 3 years of derp. Tell us your favorite memory blue giveaway for last month. And we just wanted to give you a shout out and say congrats. Those Lolas are awesome.
And so great because BitDead's been listening and supporting us for so long. I was like so happy to see that he won.
So long. Big digital hugs to BitDead.
Yeah.
So very cool.
But we're going to be giving away more blue gear in the next month or so, and also with the release of Forsaken, doing some stuff to celebrate that. So you're going to have more opportunities to win yourself a pair of Lola headphones or a Yeti microphone. So keep your eyes and ears peeled.
Tune in, Guardians.
Just wait for those fingertips on the surface of your mind. How about some news, man? Oh, there's some news.
Yeah, there's a lot of news. Lots and lots.
Let's do that.
As usual.
We got a lot to catch up on. As usual, this week at Bungie, we are preparing for a celebration. Solstice of Heroes kicks off on Reset Tuesday, July 31st. We also got a pretty cool weapons and gear trailer showcasing some exotic loot that we'll see with Forsaken.
Pretty hype trailer.
I'm a little torn, man, because I
you don't like to know that
see
stuff,
this,
right?
but then I got so interested when I did watch it.
I know, it's like I got to thinking about it. You know, there's many exotics in there, but we know we're getting more than that. So just look at it that way, right? Like these are a few.
There's
we can
some
look
in there
forward
too
to
that they're showing that they don't name or detail.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like a second of footage of like some warlock boots and like some just different stuff. So they're definitely going to keep some stuff in their pocket. But
it always makes me wonder if they among the many meetings, if they have one that's like, okay, what are we going to show them, what are we not going to show them, or if nowadays they're just like, let's just throw it all at them, they can decide if they want to watch it or not.
I think they definitely sit down and are like, what do we want kind of up front and center, and what do we want to keep like under wraps, right?
Well, I'm on the same page with you. As much as I other than story, I just jump in and watch it all. But it's crazy how much like Game Informer has covered. You know, I mean, if you were trying to not see some of that stuff, I mean, it's got to be hard. Got to be hard.
But so we won't talk like too much in detail about the content of that video, other than it's really awesome, and you know, go check it out. It's on YouTube and Game Informer's site. Or no, Game Informer. This is a Bungie trailer, not a Game Informer trailer.
I did see on Game Informer's Twitter feed today, though. I thought they were done with their coverage, but they threw out a something about like the naming and the lore.
They had an article that was talking about like just some new and some old exotic armors, and kind of like the
process,
the not the lore, but like the fables and myths and things that are behind like the names of exotics, which I've always appreciated the hard work that they put into like naming guns in this game.
For sure. Yep.
Like so many like references and things that you would have to either you have to look it up, or you would just have to like already know, like, oh, that's a RoboCop reference, or, you know, just whatever. Like,
and then the intertwining of it into all of the actual game's lore, you know, on top of that. So yeah, it's fantastic, man.
So it was a cool article. I read that today. Moving along though, we have a stream coming up.
Stream hype.
In a week, we get a year 2. Combat reveal stream, Tuesday, August 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific. As always, we will likely be hosting that over on Twitch. So if you want to hang out with Derp Fam and other listeners in chat, we always host these Bungie streams. So you can go to twitch.tv/Destiny Reset and watch it with us. So the focus of this stream is going to be specifically some things about how combat, weapons, and other things like that in the sandbox, ammunition, customization of weapons, a lot of that stuff that we've heard some broad details on, but not minute. So they're going to be having a stream to show some of that stuff off. They're going to have John Wisniewski on. And he also mentions a pretty big piece of info that they are confirming there's going to be a global adjustment to time to kill in the Crucible. This has been a very controversial topic for the past year of Destiny, since Destiny 2 released. And Bungie has definitely held off, you know, kind of stuck to their guns overall for a long time, but it appears that they're ready to make a change. They had originally said earlier in the summer that they were not going to make that change, and were going to, in fact, wait until after Forsaken to look at that. But it looks like they found something that they think works.
Well, yeah, originally I think John or either Hamrick said or tweeted out that they were going to wait, see how the weapon slots felt. But then it's been, I don't know, probably a month now. Nusk said TTK would be one of the last things that they looked at all the way up to like the final moments. And then there were some rumblings over the last couple weeks because that breakthrough gameplay had some tweaked precision hit damage in there. And of course, the community picked up on that quick. And then sure enough, I mean, we get this little statement from John that basically says, yes, they are doing a pass on time to kill in the Crucible. And I mean, it makes sense, dude, because we're going to have some one-shot weapons in slots that we didn't before, you know? So it kind of makes sense that they would do some sort of tweaking to the time to kill on primaries, what we would call a kinetic primary. But, you know, there's still speculation if it's just like a precision type of thing, or actual, you know, overall. But who knows? We won't speculate, but it's exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, we'll find out soon. Yeah, we'll find out soon. And we'll talk about, there's something else that we can expect, that we got some clarification on, you know, timing when we're going to see some of that stuff. We'll get to that soon. So we've got that to look forward to in a week. Next up, it's really funny because just last week, Fallout and I We're on the show. We're talking about Crucible Labs. And we're like, what are they going to do with that? And I totally was like, I don't think it's going to show up again, but darned if I'm wrong.
I thought I was laughing kind of because I just remembered Fallout saying like, they need to be doing something with this. Like, put something crazy in there.
The timing is just so funny. So I laughed too when I got to this part of the trial. Like I laughed at myself.
Yeah, you both were going back and forth.
So when the TWA went live back on July 26th of last week, Showdown premiered in the Crucible Labs playlist. This is essentially, if you played D1, this is a spin is it Showdown? No, Lockdown. Sorry. This is a spin on the old Zone Control.
Yes.
Then we got
tweaks.
It's a little bit different. It's 4v4 round-based competitive mode. It's about capturing and holding zones. You basically fill up a progress bar, and there's no round timer. First team to reach 100% wins.
That's interesting.
But they introduce a mechanic where if you can capture all 3 zones, you can instantly win the round, which I think that's a pretty cool, kind of gambit. For it.
I've seen some positive feedback so far. Like it's interesting.
I haven't gotten to play it.
Yeah. When I first read this, it didn't sound like super interesting. But then when you read, when you go on to read the couple little things you just said, and then like the round based part of it, it's interesting. Like it's what we'd like to see in Crucible Labs. Something tweaked up to something we used to like. Just to test it out. So
and they detail as well, like how you have to have uncontested zones, and that's kind of a important part of that mechanic, and the same for the triple cap as well. So let us know if you played this mode. We'd like to hear what people are thinking, and what you thought about it, and definitely. If you spend some time in there, they want us to go to the feedback forum on Bungie.net so that they can provide feedback on that mode.
Yeah, there's one specifically for Crucible Labs. You get Valor rank now too when you do Crucible Labs.
Yeah.
1.2.3. Yep.
Almost passed over that. Yep, you get Valor for playing in that. So that's cool. They're thinking about everything now. Next up, we talked last week about the Whisper of the Worm quest that's been going down, and they put out, I guess, kind of a comment about how people were having issues at the end of the weekend with the correct public event not turning up. Like, I think there was literally like 12 hours where the Taken Blight public event didn't show up. Yeah, and it was towards the end of the weekend, like people were trying to get in there and get this done before it ended. People didn't know when it would end. And then Bungie announced like midnight that Sunday night that it would end in 12 hours. So everybody's like, oh, we got to do this now. People were up at like 5 a.m. just getting Cabal drill after Cabal drill.
I was kind of watching that go down as it happened. I jumped in to do this like the night we got back from vacation.
Yeah, it was like Saturday night or something, or Friday night. I saw you tweeted.
Dude, like just real quick, we'll talk a little bit at reset, but I don't know how lucky we got, but it took us a minute to get our first one, but we did one of those things where we were going to bed like 5 before the one we actually got it. And we would go run it, come back out. Okay, if it's a taken one, we'll do another one. It's like, surely it won't be, because they had just done it the night before, and like they waited like an hour to get one. We got back to back to back. Like we would run it, come back out, take it.
I might have been running it like the same night you did, because we were doing that too. Like I was doing it with some, like trying to help some people to get it, and we got like 3 or 4 in a row.
Dude. Yeah. I started seeing all the stuff on Twitter on my feed the next day and stuff, and I'm like, I just don't want to say anything, because I'm not joking. It was probably 6 or 7 in a row. Just like as soon as we would come out, another one would come up, and we finally got it, and it was like, wow. And then I saw all that, and I'm like, okay, I'll just equip my Whisper and move on.
So they did mention they did some investigating to see if that problem is a bug, and that there is not a bug. There is a random generator that determines those events, and they're mentioning that it doesn't do a good job of preventing streaks like what happened. So they're investigating ways to prevent that. They did simulations to see if there might be any more long streaks. They said we expect a few more outliers, but balance with long streaks of only taking blight events. This activity will be available every week, and once you unlock the heroic version, it will stay unlocked. We will continue to monitor the situation. So there's been more this weekend. I've seen people like waiting like 3-4 hours. It's not perfect, and there's a lot of complaints about that.
It's understandable, man. I mean, it stinks.
Yeah, I completely, like, if I was trying to do it too, I would be pretty frustrated about that. Like,
I mean, it's a very valid criticism. I mean, everything about this is so cool. Everything about this whole thing, except that little hiccup, is kind of painful. You know, it's like if you don't get lucky, if RNG isn't on your side, and you know maybe there's a way to tweak that little bit, and make it a little bit better of an experience.
Yeah. I think they need to. I think they need to just manipulate what's going down there and set it up a certain way. So either that it rotates. Or
just every other,
or
you know. I get there's lore there or story there, but I mean, you could make it to where any public event triggers the boss, you know. Yeah, I heard that today as well.
Something like that, or make the drill take it fight or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's things that can be done. It's the imagination is the only limitation here. So,
but overall, wow,
my opinion is
what a cool thing,
you know,
and the community's just going crazy.
Oh, absolutely, man! It's an awesome thing. Everybody's been excited about it. Next up, we saw an update to the development roadmap. With some details about when we can expect some things before and for the Forsaken release date. So they gave us some commentary, first of all, on the director update and milestone and challenge updates. We're going to see some of that stuff a little early. The week of August 28th, we're going to have 2.0.0 come out where we can preload Forsaken. I'm excited about that. And so the way that they list this is with that patch, we'll see the weapon slot changes, milestone and challenges updates, director updates, heroic story missions, bulk shader deletion, and the 200 additional vault slots. Now, you actually tweeted to some folks at Bungie to clarify, because sometimes reading this, you know, they'll put features and stuff in here that is part of
the code implementation.
Update. Yeah, it's part of a code, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's dropping on that date. And the exception has been if it's sandbox, or, you know, I guess you could call it like part of the game backbone, you know, that stuff usually is there when we get the patch. So you tweeted. And what was the response?
I was trying to think of a way, you know, I just asked him how you and I could convey it to our listeners, you know, kind of in black and white terms. And what was the event that this all started with? Do you remember that? What was something that didn't go live and everybody was confused? It was the first time the confusion happened.
Oh, it was faction rallies.
Faction rallies, like it was on the dev roadmap for the patch date, but of course it was a live event. So I asked, you know, can we... classic word always. I say, can we always, you know, assume the difference between code implemented versus go live days? Is it safe to say events may not be patch date, but features and systems like weapon slots, etc., would be? And Manta said he doesn't want to say always. He doesn't like to say always, but features generally go live with the update, and events generally do not. So I think, like, in a grand scheme of things, like you've kind of already summed up, like if it's an event, kind of assume that might not be going live, kind of like Solstice. Same thing happened with Solstice.
So I think that we can safely say that the pieces that are part of the 2.0 update, we will see that week of August 28th, which is the week before.
Well, there was
Forsaken
just
drops.
like rumblings through Twitter, immediately like, wait, does this mean we're going to get weapon slots a week before, or does it not? What does this mean? What does this mean? That's when it all started, So it's, yeah.
Yeah, and I do believe that it was either Gigs or Triple.
They both were kind of,
a whole,
yep.
Yeah, well, they were talking about it, and then they did get a response from one of the Bungie devs that flat out said, yes, those things are going live on that day.
Which is very similar to Taken King, right? We got that massive update.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Like, we saw the same, there was big sandbox stuff that happened when the Taken King came out, and all that stuff got, pushed out.
That was the quest system and everything. That was a huge overhaul. Yeah.
Yeah, the quests, and I think I want to say, like, didn't private matches?
There was a bunch. It makes sense that they throw it out the week before, right? They don't want to throw too much at one time and run the risk of who knows why breaking anything overwhelming.
Well, and part of it is like if they want to preload everything, like if the code changes as part of that, like you almost have to, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't with the sandbox stuff. They can't flip switches and like if they change the codes change. They couldn't like flip a switch and say, okay, weapon slots are on now. It would require code to be installed. So, and then as well, that gives them, which they're always smart in this way. Like this, for those things, it gives them that week where if something is seriously wrong, that they couldn't catch, then it will give them an opportunity to start sorting it out, But that's exciting because everybody will get to play with that stuff a little bit and see how things change and see what they like, see what weapons swap to what slots.
Like Hawthorne's going to kinetic,
clean your vault up.
The most baffling one. We're probably going to get a bit jarred by some of the moves, but overall it's going to be fun. Yeah,
I think so. They talked a little bit about though the milestone and challenge updates because as we learned this week, milestones are going to be called challenges now, and challenges are going to be part of the bounty system.
Thank you.
So basically, what bounties were in D1 are called challenges now, and those are going to be basically like bounties that you pick up.
All I'm saying is, man, a lot of this stuff that my only 400 viewed, 500 viewed Destiny 2 YouTube video, this was all throughout the community. This is exactly what we wanted, in certain areas. Challenges are an example of just I don't pay attention to them. Something about bounties just works. And it's so great to see the feedback from the community going to such a small thing like that. I am fascinated with what this director is going to look like with the 4-day reset and the daily.
Yeah, because they're changing the director. We won't be able to go any of the new places, but we'll be able to see where we might be going. But they mentioned changes to powerful engrams are Forsaken. You'll be able to get powerful engrams from the challenge system that replaces milestones. Specific quests and bounties will provide better gear. And then there's something called mysteries, which are rarer sources. And they said, but if we told you about them,
I just wonder if that means secret quests and stuff that'll drop highlight gear, right?
Yeah. So they say once these changes are deployed, the milestones blade, which is if you pull that left trigger when you're in the director, you'll see critical required missions such as the main campaign or subclass path pursuits, next steps for quests or other aspects of progression, and legacy milestones from Destiny 2 campaigns that aren't becoming challenges or quests. So so that's kind of the bigger picture stuff that we're going to see changing. I'm super excited for those things to show up a week early. And then, of course, with Forsaken, 2.0.0.1, I don't think any of that has changed as far as what they had on the roadmap. All the other we're going to see the weapon randomization. the Triumph Gear Collections mod system update, power matters in Iron Banner and Trials, in-game lore, new bounties, etc., etc. That stuff drops with Forsaken.
Yeah, and just for clarification, again, everything on the dev roadmap is to all Destiny 2 players. So, just a reminder.
For sure. All right, and then they've got our calendar of events for August. They mentioned that they are headed to Gamescom with Gambit, and I was really intrigued. They said we will make some important announcements.
Whereas PAX, they just say, "Hey, we're bringing Gambit."
Yeah. And then they mentioned we're going to PAX where we'll mix it up with the community and yes, play some Gambit. I'm wondering if they're going to do at PAX what they did last year. You remember how they had the 2-day like event in a separate like theater at PAX last year? I wonder if they're doing that again or if they're just going to do their normal thing.
Man, I look at that.
That might be a lot to do with everything.
Well, you look
on.
at that image we've got here of everything going on, which we're about to hit. But to think about everything they're trying to coordinate, dude, they're going to be at PAX leading all the way up to the release of Forsaken.
Oh yeah, dude! PAX ends the day before Forsaken. I was like, holy crap, man!
No
Who set
time.
that date?
Yep.
So
different teams.
And also on this map, notable. We were talking last week. We couldn't remember or figure out if they had any more Iron Banner lined up. We are going to see Iron Banner the week of August 14th through 20th.
I can't wait to, man.
And of course, that will be the final Iron Banner.
That's the one with the tweaks with the wolves howling when you get on a streak in the fire pits. Yeah.
Can't wait to play that. That's going to be fun.
Very cool.
All right, next up, one of the coolest pieces of news for myself personally that I saw this week was an announcement of a print grimoire anthology.
Dude. Like it was an immediate excitement. I actually think I saw Mylan's tweet first because I hadn't made it to the TWAB. Yeah, this is what, just for clarification, Mylan Games, who's a big lore guardian in the community. He's been working with Bungie on something we didn't know about until this got announced. And dude, I couldn't be more excited. And what a cool way to do this thing, right? Who knows if, a lot of it was in place and he came in just as kind of a consulting type thing and like, hey, you guys definitely are doing this right, or, just from the start of it. But this is again, something the community's been asking for forever. We've had community members, guardians out there who've created similar things like this, right? But of course not Bungie official.
Yeah. Just printed like Books of Sorrow.
This is just cool, man. And I figured you were pretty stoked for this.
I was super excited, and it's cool the way that they're going to do that. So they mentioned like this is going to be multiple volumes, and each volume is going to basically focus on a certain they say facet of the world. And then I love this. The complete anthology will confirm and challenge players' thoughts and assumptions about what it means to be a guardian, offering new and differing perspectives on the cosmic war that rages between the traveler and its ancient enemies. So the first one is called Dark Mirror. And they show a page with an illustration from the book, and it's a verse from the Books of Sorrow. So we have to assume that it's going to focus on the worm gods and the hive, and I don't know what else, but it looks really cool, and it's available for pre-order. I think it comes out in October, and it will be available in bookstores as well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. It says anthology. I asked our friends on Twitter today, and I'm like, the way they describe it, it sounds like we might get some new stories and also old stuff, but is it just going to be like hardback printed lore that we've already had and seen and know, or do we think it's going to intertwine some new stuff? What are your thoughts?
I think that's a great question. When I read it, I'm
fine with either.
Got the vibe that it seemed like they were saying that some of this isn't stuff we've seen before. but they don't flat out say that. It's just the language that they use. Like, they say things like, casting new light on Destiny's most legendary heroes, infamous villains. Like, it may just be the way that they decided to curate it, and because it says they're pulling together like tales from multiple sources,
just organizing
different things like that. So it's hard to say. I mean, I think it would be awesome if there was some new stuff in there. Like, it would make a lot of sense if they decided, okay, like, we're going to pull this stuff together, and then we're going to put some things in here that clarify, like, this is here's a new story or a new thing that's going to flesh out something that needs to be fleshed out for you to understand, like, how this part of the Destiny universe works. Like, that would be awesome. Yeah.
But on the flip side, if it is just a legit hardback version organized in a fashion that makes complete sense,
even
I'm
if
totally
it is,
fine with that too.
I'll love to have that, because I'll kick back and like just pour through these, man.
Very excited.
So this is really cool, man, and it's awesome that they had Mylan working on this. I think he's very uniquely qualified for that.
Kind of,
not only because of what his interest is, but like his educational background is, from what I understand, like is on like research of like literature, and he's like pursuing a doctorate.
Dude, I had the pleasure, I mentioned this back on the show, but I wouldn't have thought, of all the Guardians going there, for whatever reason, there's so many different people you talk to, but him and I spent a lot of time together at the summit, dude, and it was so great. It was so cool to meet him and talk to him, and dude, like, I was excited when he announced this, just that he was going to do some stuff with Bungie, and now, like, to see it was this, of course, lore related, we figured, but it just kind of puts the icing on the cake with this thing, right? Like a fellow Guardian was working with them on
Absolutely,
it, right?
yeah.
So, very cool.
Yeah, for sure. And, we definitely need to talk to him and see if we can get him to come on and talk about it when it comes out. That would be
we will do that.
Really fun.
For sure.
All right. If you're listening, Mylan, by the way, we're scheduling you right now. So that's exciting, man. I can't wait for this thing. Next up, they had kind of an update on the Bungie user research. This doesn't get brought up a lot, but there is a part of Bungie called the Bungie user research team, and
I was signed up.
They basically, I mean, you forget it's there, but you can go and fill out a questionnaire and like apply to be like considered in part of like their test groups and stuff. And sometimes it's just surveys. Sometimes they have sent out invitations for people to come to Bungie and like test stuff too. You got to be local, or you got to be able to get there if you want to do that. But they mentioned this because they have updated the registration questionnaire with new data points. And if you're already in the database, they want you to do it again. If you don't, this is a chance for you to fill it out. Local or not, I would go, check this out. You might get a chance to help, provide, information about how you play the game or what you like about the game or what you don't, things like that. Like, if you're a player and you want to have some kind of impact, this is an opportunity for you to do that.
Yeah, I liked their, just in describing it, that of course they would love to involve as many Guardians in the community as they can, but when it comes to things, like stream reveals and the summit and just, geography and how they could get people there, it's just hard, obviously, to do that. So this allows them to get a lot of Guardians involved, right?
Yeah. And it's good that they are like continuing this and like updating it to try to, push that program forward. 'Cause again, like we mentioned, like they haven't brought this up in a while.
Right.
It doesn't mean that maybe they haven't been using that concept, but just to go hand in hand with, their engagement and involving players and trying to shape the game, this, is another facet of them doing that. And that's encouraging.
Yep.
Next up, New Monarchy, finally.
Dude, we could just do a show on TWABs these days.
I know.
They're so long.
New Monarchy won the third and final faction rally. It's my favorite faction.
Yes, it is. I know that.
Congratulations to New Monarchy. I was able to rank up to 50
Oh, really?
and get I got that cool looking Alpha Lupi, crest of Alpha Lupi ornament. Looks awesome.
Yeah,
looks so good.
I'm a little
jelly.
Well, not so much for that, but I didn't get my Sunshot Catalyst on the last faction rally, so I honestly hope we see a little bit different thing.
Well, yeah, we'll have a chance to get that stuff, they said. So hopefully that'll be soon. Down in Destiny player support, they mentioned there was going to be a hot fix that happens. This is happening on reset on July 31st. Some stuff that's going to set up Solstice of Heroes. So that'll happen in the morning. And they give some tips on doing Solstice. Go check that out. Go read this stuff. They clarified about the Forsaken purchase options. People were asking about a pre-order bonus for something called Cade's Exotic Stash. Asking if that's going to be included if you pre-order from the PlayStation, Xbox, or Battle.net online store, and they are confirming if you pre-order through those services, you will get that Cade's Exotic Stash.
Right.
Good to know.
Any of them.
And then finally, movies of the week. Some good stuff in here. I watched these. There's a pretty cool like fan-made Destiny 2 raid cinematic that takes you through all the different environments of the 3 Leviathan raids. It was pretty cool. Some really pretty stuff in there.
Yeah, I love that kind of cinematic stuff with some epic music.
Yeah. All right, that is the TWAB, dude.
Wow. You remember back in the day when we asked for more in the TWABs?
Yeah. Remember that?
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the TWAB was kind of short this week. Not anymore.
No. Yeah, Solstice of Heroes, man.
Yeah, so I saved this to talk about with you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep.
That Moments of Triumph, we talked about Moments of Triumph. I realized I got some rating to do. Dude,
yeah.
I'm already in that moment. I have been for like a month, and I'm not going to complain. There's no complaints. It's a great feeling, but I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie. I've got Moments of Triumph to complete. I got Solstice starting. We've got that starting as you're listening to this. I've got weapons I don't have that I want. Like, it's Forsaken's a month away, and I'm already feeling the hobbyist overwhelming pressure of the game. But
yeah,
I'm totally
August
fine with
is going to be a grind if you want stuff.
I want the Claymore still working on that.
Oh man,
dude, I'm telling you, like it's real, and it's fantastic.
You better be on every night.
Yes. I will say though, dude, I read through the Solstice page again today, and I love this event, dude. Like, I'm excited. Like the city is honoring us, and all these layers that are with it, and just the feel and the vibe. Like, and then it's tied into our Moments of Triumph for Destiny 2 Year 1. Like, it's cool, right, dude. It's awesome. Very cool.
It is really cool, and I really like the motif and the art design and stuff that they're using for it is really beautiful.
Using our OG armor that we're gonna upgrade, right?
And I was excited about this because the only way you could get that back is if you did all the memories
with Ikora.
What are they called? With Ikora's meditations.
Meditations, yeah. I actually did them
and
a few months ago.
You didn't get like a lot of tokens for those. Like, you would have to grind these out hard. So it's cool because you get. It's interesting how they're doing this. Like, you get a scorched uncommon set, and when you complete those objectives, you move to the next set. When you complete those objectives, you move to the next set. Yeah. Like, I think it's through 1, 2.
I think it's 3 sets.
3 different armor sets. And then the masterwork that you can earn on the final one.
It's a grind, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm feeling the overwhelming again right now. Like, there's so much to do, man. My to-do list is like 15 things long right now, which is great to have a to-do list again.
And I was watching a video from our buddy Houndish, who I guess the requirements for these armor sets were data mined or something to that effect. And yeah, it's a grind to like, if you want to like fully push them all the way up to the masterwork, like there's a ton of stuff you're gonna have to do.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah,
plenty to do. And it made actually, I sent out a little constructive feedback to get some thoughts today, because I am a little like, what, to make the final set a masterwork, you have to actually do specific activities. Like you have to do the prestige raid, and you have to, you know, do the nightfall and beat the base set score. And we won't get into all that, but that's not exactly how I like masterworks to work.
Yeah, you put a tweet talking about like how you preferred it, and
yeah,
I think your take was like you would rather there be like a material that allowed you to masterwork it, right?
And we got like a little nugget of this, which I guess we'll talk about in a bit, but apparently with Forsaken Masterworks, you're going to be able to, when you masterwork something, you get a stat, and then that stat can be leveled up 10 times. So keeping that in mind, and maybe they just did this with Solstice, you know, that's very possible, just to give us kind of a grind before we get some new systems implemented. But I like the idea for all types of players, the hobbyist and the hardcore casual or the casual, whatever, to be able to save up a material, because it feels good to masterwork something, right? Like to see that gold ring around it. So everyone can save up their cores to masterwork something. This could even work for catalysts, exotic catalysts. And then the hobbyist, like grinding aspect of it comes after that. However much time you want to put into that weapon will make your stat that much, you know, better and better. But again, sorry, we don't have to get off on this tangent. We can talk about that some other time.
No, I think it was interesting because like I think I like it differently. My question was, okay, if we had a material that you use to masterwork stuff, obviously then you have to earn that material. And you know, if you remember, if we go back to like Destiny 1, year 2 and 3, you would have to have these exotic shards for stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you would either have to purchase those, or you'd have to dismantle, you know, exotics to get them. But it was a currency, and you were always trying to hoard them and find them and stuff. And yeah, and what I don't like about a system like that is it still makes things random.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I don't like about the exotic catalysts, is that there's a general way that you can get it, but there's not a definite reward for your time. And what I really like about what they're doing here with the Masterworks on these legendary armors is that there's a definitive path to do it.
Right.
So if I want it, I know exactly what I can do. And when I do that, it completes it and I have it. Right. So it's not random. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's a good hybrid between the two, because for me, I know that there's a lot, just speaking for me, there is a lot of value for me when I masterwork something and I put that gold ring around it. And I like people to see that I have a full set of masterworked gear. So for me, I totally get, like, if I want the masterwork on this thing, I need to go run the prestige raid. I get that. I respect that. You know, it's just for me, more than likely, among all the things that I want to get done in the game, that's probably not going to be high on my list, and that's my own choice, right? Yeah. But that means I'm not going to get the masterworked version of that possibly, and you know, I don't know. I think maybe there's a happy medium. You know, there's a material involved. You know, for Catalyst, for example, you know, instead of tying them to a live event, you know, there's a way to implement a material to allow you to, you know, collect that material in some way, shape, or form, whether it be random drops of, you know, for example, Masterworks. You get random drops of Masterworks. It seemed way more frequent than they used to. Break that down, you get those materials, whatever it may be. There's a decision there of what you want to masterwork. And then, you know, just general goals once you get that. Kills, orbs generated, orbs collected, things like that. But, you know, I definitely get what you're saying. Like and that's been a lot of people's feedback as well. Like, people don't mind a grind as long as they know they're progressing towards it, or they know what they need to do. And that's, like you said, where the catalysts, there's the classic Destiny RNG with exotic catalysts is like 1 week I got 3 and then I didn't get any for 4 or 5 weeks after that. We just saw somebody in our Discord that said they just got their first one like last week.
And I haven't
crazy.
had any new ones in
I haven't
2
either.
or 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And I've played a lot of Destiny in the past 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that RNG
some of these,
element,
I look at it, it's
time.
like I may never get some of these.
And that does stink. That's a definite.
I guess that's almost like a callback to Destiny 1, like people not getting Gallarhorns for 3 years,
That's what I was going to say is like, it's weird. And you hear this too, is like, it's odd, but it's almost like a part of the feeling of playing Destiny. It's not like,
it's kind of part of the game.
At times it's painful, but that pain really pays off when you finally get it after your friends got it way before you.
Right.
So anyway, sorry, tangent. I tried to avoid doing that.
No, I wanted that tangent. So, but going back to Solstice of Heroes, so a big part of the event is going to be what they call Redux missions, where there's 5 missions from the original Destiny 2 campaign that we'll play that will have, I think, like they say, slight alterations, assuming like modifiers and stuff. They don't tell us how, but it'll be Homecoming, Spark, Payback, 1AU, and Chosen, which are pretty much like the 5 most like set piece memorable missions from that campaign. So
I even like this, dude. Like for a live event and something like this, I even like this, going back and giving us things that we're running them for, and also we're going to revisit these missions maybe we haven't played in forever.
And there's also like some kind of mechanic where once you have your armor, it will like it generates some kind of elemental orbs that you'll collect and you do something with. I don't know. There's some kind of game mechanic that I don't totally understand that's going to be part of this. I guess we're going to know by tomorrow, but what I do like is like they put some work into this. It's not just like, here's an event, just go do everything.
And you'll get stuff,
that you can do, or run 10 strikes.
You can tell
like
thought
there is
it.
some of that. It's like go kill 10 enemies or, stuff like that. But they actually are introducing like a new kind of mechanic and like redoing some of the missions and some stuff like that.
Well, with an event like this, we're like celebrating the last year, and they've intertwined it into the lore. You can have us go run modified story missions and give us our OG armor and give us glows to put on it, and that stuff works, right? Because we're kind of like celebrating the first year of Destiny, and as long as there's layers of new stuff there intertwined with it, it works. It gives it a cool vibe,
Yeah, it's cool. And so they also showed off there's going to be some cool cosmetic stuff, some weapon ornaments, some sparrows, some emotes, and this other thing that we've kind of seen before called armor glows. Yep. Very similar to the original
ornaments. No.
What were they called?
Was it ornaments? Back in the day?
I remember what were they called? It was
yeah, I remember, man. I definitely
House of
remember.
Wolves thing.
For some reason, I thought like the OG name of those are ornaments, but I think I'm mixing it up. What was
I'm drawing
it?
a blank. I cannot remember what they were called.
Everybody's saying it right now.
Yeah,
We're
you know what it
ears.
is if you played then.
Yes,
but
I can't
basically
believe
shiny stuff on your armor.
Yeah. My goodness.
And but they're a little different. Like they're a little more ornamental. Like the ones that they're showing, especially, is like more like the kind of the hologram, like stuff flying off you and just crazy looking cool stuff. There'll be like armor piece specific, like legs, arms, chest, and they'll have different colors, solar, void, and arc. And then those glows will be brighter if you're using the appropriate subclass.
Yes.
So
looks really
that's some cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Finally, they had like a developer insight into the July update video. really enjoyed that. I love when we get these like big time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Solstice of Heroes. Looking forward to this. We get to go to a new area in the last city.
Yeah, in the last city. I can't wait. That's gonna be cool.
Specifically for that. You got some notes on some of the Game Informer coverage. You want to cover some of this stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we can run through this. There's one little nugget I did not want to leave out because I think it was in a previous thing, and I couldn't remember.
If it's this first one,
did you guys talk about it?
This is almost spoiler territory.
Should we not say it? Okay.
I don't think we should.
There's an individual who
I want to, but when I saw it, I was like, I'm disappointed I got spoiled. I'm mega hyped that I got spoiled. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't even think about spoiling you. Dang.
No. I saw this on Twitter.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Somebody pointed it out. There's a character that
big time.
Somebody saw, not the character, but when you're hearing someone's voice over comms and it says their name on the screen, like somebody caught that and in a video.
Yes, it's pretty big. Even if it's just that line, it's still cool. But you'd assume there might be more. Okay, moving on from that. We got new Nessus Gambit gameplay. We got a new map on Nessus, which looked pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was like a guided tour.
Yeah, like fly through video type thing. Yeah, there was this cool little spot where like a drill is coming down on like a Vex portal. It's like chopped half of it off, and it drops down into the map, and you can go down there and teleport back up. So it was cool to see another Gambit map. We've seen we played on the map at the summit. We played on the EDZ map that we've seen so much, and it was cool to see a different map for sure. But
and it's a cool video because they talk a little bit about like how they're here's how we make maps and here's how we made this map, and
it's cool stuff. All the thought that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
Where to put the bank? Right in the middle. That's where you put the bank. We got a new competitive PvP mode gameplay video of a new mode called Breakthrough. This is what we were talking about earlier, where Guardians were noticing a bit of a tweak in the critical hit TTK, and we also noticed just a little nugget here that there was also radar. Something that
it's a comp mode, and there was radar in it.
I'm hoping we hear about something updated with that on the stream. But anyways, this mode's pretty cool. It's basically, it is fully objective based, right?
Like when I watched the video, this mode like instantly made a ton more sense than it did on paper to me.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
It's a mode that is hard. Like they have certain like language and stuff they're using for what the objectives are and what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this kind of sounds complicated. I don't know. It's basically a spin on control.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like,
at its core, it's basically, imagine you start out with your first zone captured and your objective is to capture B. And then when you capture B, you got to then go capture C.
Yeah, like then you're attacking. The difference, I guess, well, it's not really different. You're right. It's basically control. The other team is defending, but you can basically after that central or that center, initial task, you are either defending or attacking, and you can defend and win, or you can attack and win.
That's what makes it kind of different. Another thing they mentioned that they haven't detailed in depth is. And also they've mentioned that it's not like complete, like they're adjustments to this, but apparently when you're defending, you get like some kind of debuff that makes you slower, and it keeps you from, just that loss of mobility makes it so it's more. I think they were trying to balance how easy it is to defend something. I
can see that.
So apparently there's something to do with that, but they mentioned like it's not fully feature complete yet, and
looks cool though. It's interesting.
It does look fun.
Mode, right? It'll be interesting to see how it plays. In a ranked glory world. We definitely need some more modes. I wish they'd just bring back elimination. I'm waiting on we still haven't heard anything about trials. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but I would be super pumped if they just said trials is back with elimination.
Yeah, I saw a tweet, I think, from one of the devs, and they said something to the effect of, like, we are actively talking about trials and it's under the microscope big time.
Yeah. It's like, it's got to be every other major release they've, especially a fall release, they've like reintroduced trials. Like it's a big part of the game. Yeah. So you would think.
I would not be surprised if, similar to those releases, if it was off the menu for a short period, like a month.
Well, just like we've learned, many of the Crucible aspects are going to be, right? We've already learned that it's going to be a few weeks out before we see some of the new Crucible content, except for, which actually they're not calling Gambit Crucible. It's its own thing. They're very clear about that.
Gambit.
Yeah, it's just Gambit. But anyways, this next one, dude, if you want to talk about that one, and I'll hit the last one because you kind of mentioned milestones.
Sure. Yeah. So we got a written article, and it was how milestones and mods are changing in Destiny 2 Forsaken. Yeah. Some of these things we talked about, we covered just how milestones are changing to challenges and where you're going to be able to get loot. The overall focus is what they're explaining is there's not going to be a set number of challenges / milestones every reset or week. And they will change so that they'll vary, and some of them will be on a 4-day cycle. Raids and raid lairs will still be on the once a week powerful reward system, similar to current resets, but there will be a 4-day reset of other milestones, and those things will change. So it sounds like, we're going to have a lot more variety in what we're going to be doing. It's not going to be so predictable.
Yeah. I've
seems like
mentioned many times, just the UI changes and the director changes and stuff like that, I'm going to nerd out on alone when we get all this stuff. But like then the layer, of course, of actually how the weekly systems, the way we're going to do things is going to change. Like you said, and they go on, I think they said in the TWAB, like you just have to jump in and play and see how it works. It's going to be weird to have daily, weekly, 4-day resets. Like it's going to be really cool. I like you basically just said, we're just going to play and get our own routine, and there's going to be
their goal is like for there always to be
something to do
every day, like something
that's good
new you can do, and for people not to just totally run out of ways to progress.
And part of it, we've mentioned on previous episodes, is the grind to 600 power level is going to be legit, kind of like we've seen with Warmind, and they want us to be rewarded regularly and feel like we're progressing. So,
and then there's going to be weekly challenges for bounties, Gambit, heroic story missions, the Dreaming Cities new public event, and daily challenges for players to get powerful loot for activities like strikes, nightfall strikes, Gambit, heroic adventures, and Crucible. So for an example, they say, so in a given week, you might tackle 2 Crucible challenges, 2 Gambit challenges, 2 strike challenges, and 1 heroic adventure, depending on the random rotation. And then another interesting thing, if you don't so they say, if you don't log in every day, don't worry, daily challenges will wait for you. If you miss them, they'll stockpile until you have 4 saved up right before the next 4-day reset. If you wait longer than 4 days, you will miss the reset, but the next time you log in, there will be 4 daily challenges available to you.
That's cool.
I don't know if that means like
they're just going to stack.
You'll keep the old ones.
Yeah.
This seems super confusing. We're just going to have to see it. But I think the idea is like, whether you log in every day or you can get in on certain days of the week, like there's going to be lots of stuff for you to do and continued ways for you to mix it up.
They don't want to penalize you, I guess, if you can't get on every day, right? But at some point they got to drop off.
It does mention with bounties, they'll always clearly display its reward. So it'll let you know which ones to pick up if you only want certain powerful stuff. There's going to be hidden challenges to look for. even ones not highlighted by the director, which observant players will have to find for themselves scattered across several activities. So, yeah, this just seems like a lot.
Dude, it's the overwhelming aspect I was talking about. Then, like, I've been super pumped about the Lost Sector stuff, that we've heard about and covered, and the bounties from the spider to go kill certain, leaders.
Yeah.
It's like all this stuff. Like, what?
Yeah, like, what do we do?
What are we going to do? Again, not a complaint, but wow.
I'm just wondering if it's going to be, if things are going to start to get to a point where players start to just focus on certain areas of the game again. And that still kind of happens to an extent, but you can play every aspect of the game if you have the time and you want to.
Yeah, I mean, for the OCD brain, which is myself included, like, I like to have a plan. And I don't know
I would not be surprised if there was enough to do that you kind of just would have to decide on any given day or even any given week. Like, I'm just going to focus on like this type of,
this is what I like to do.
Chase on this type of stuff or this type of activity this week, or, I don't know. It's tough to say until we get our hands on it, but it does seem like a lot,
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Real quick then about some changes to mods. Mods are not going to be a requirement. They're not going to offer a power boost. There's only going to be legendary mods. So you'll be able to go to the gunsmith and trade in your old stuff for new components for new legendary mods. Energy and heavy weapon mods will no longer act as a way to change the element of a given weapon. The big question about that is, like, what happens with all the year one stuff? Like, are they just going to stay whatever, element they are? Are they going to strip, like, elemental damage from kinetic, like, energy weapons? Like, I have some questions about that stuff. I guess we're going to find out next week.
You talking about the mods?
Yeah.
Well, they've said,
I think it's obvious on power weapons. Like, my guess is they're gonna have a static element on power weapons. But for energy weapons, you can change those out with mods.
Right, yeah.
And you're not going to be able to do that with mods anymore. So will we be able to change those still?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Just change? Will they just decide, okay, this gun does arc, and when the code pushes it, they all become arc? Or is there going to be a new mechanic to change it? You know what I mean? Like, what happens there?
Yeah, that's a good question, because they've said, as far as our current mods go, right, that we're just going to turn all those in for some sort of something.
They're all just going to be junk.
So that, and then they're going to become, well, I don't know, that's a good question, dude. I hadn't actually really thought about that.
Hopefully we're going to find that out. Deej put up a tweet saying, hey, what kind of stuff do you guys want to see on this stream next week? I need to go comment and say, hey, can you guys detail how elements are going to work on energy and power weapons?
That's a good one, man. I had not even considered that.
Like, that system is really convenient and beneficial because of the way that shields work. It's obviously beneficial for you to have the right element, especially when you have like singes and stuff where you can take your favorite gun and you can make it solar if you want, or you can make it arc. And that was really limiting in Destiny 1 because pretty much most of the time, like, a gun was a certain element and you had to use the appropriate guns, right?
Right.
So I'm hoping we don't go back to that,
Yeah, man.
All right. Just questions. So last thing, so they mentioned a few mods that we're going to be able to get for like things like guns. One was Icarus Grip that improves weapons accuracy while airborne. Radar Tuner, which decreases time it takes for your radar to return after you're done aiming, and targeting adjuster, which grants you better target acquisition. So they want mods to be more impactful.
Those are awesome.
But they're also going to be harder to acquire.
Yes. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So they are going to have mods on raid weapons.
I don't remember in a tweet. Oh man, there's just so much information. Somewhere they said on those perks as well, like they want it to, maybe, I don't think it was this article. They want it to be like finishing touches on your weapon, and something you won't swap a lot, right?
Yeah, that was kind of what he was saying in this article, is like, you're going to want to put mods on guns that you really like.
Yeah.
That you want to make a little better.
Yep. Which is cool, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
It's kind of like an investment vehicle. It's not every gun, like it is now. You stick in a legendary on every gun that you're going to use, right? Make it better.
I dig it.
So, yeah, I dig it. All right. Last thing we had was this video, or it was like a podcast. It was the Game Informer podcast, and they basically did like, a Q&A.
Finish it off. Yeah.
You want to cover some of this stuff?
Yeah, dude. I honestly was just gonna read them quickly. Some things,
go for
some
it.
things we probably have mentioned already. Some maybe not, but we just wanted to inform you guys of. There was a lot of little juicy nuggets of information in there.
Yeah.
So it was almost like the rapid fire thing again. But here you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to read mostly their answers, and it'll make sense. They said, yes, more secret quests with Forsaken, like we got with Whisper of the Worm. Whisper of the Worm will remain as a power weapon in Forsaken. More timed events with the annual pass is the plan. No mechanic as of right now to recustomize your characters. So no getting rid of that ugly character that you made a long time ago. New Masterwork system armor will drop with a random bonus stat that won't be re-rollable but can be upgraded a total of 10 times. Armor will roll with 2 perks. One is a modifier for abilities and one for ammo economy. Will the last word return is what they were asked. They kind of looked at each other and didn't answer. And I believe there was a follow-up tweet. Somebody asked Scott on Twitter, and he said suspicious, like their response. So who knows? We'll see. Everybody's saying the last word would make sense, right? Because they've said time and time again, this is like a Western theme type of expansion for Destiny. So.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, please. Yes, I missed that gun. Just the animation alone, I missed that gun. Right? Okay, moving on. Yeah. We will see changes in the tower following Cade's death. So, in other words, like NPCs and other things like that, you will see them recognizing that.
Yeah, they mention so this was interesting because this has been a big question. They mentioned so if you ran the D2 campaign, Cade will still be there. Mm-hmm. Like, I think he'll be on the farm, and he'll be in cutscenes, and his audio will stay the same for stuff. And as well, even for strikes, his audio is still going to be there. But he will never be in the tower anymore. Even if you're running the D2 campaign, like when you finished it, he's not going to be there. And they're getting, there will be no more Cade treasure maps.
Yeah. I mean, they're just wiping it clean of the Cade.
Yeah. And along with that, somebody was asking, well, what about the Hunter Vanguard? And they said, well, we want you to play to find out about that, but we're introducing some new characters. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Go watch this for sure, guys. To see their mannerisms when they answer some of this stuff is well worth it. For sure. Yeah. But moving on. Okay. Year 1 tokens. You can get Year 2 weapons with them from the Gunsmith, Vanguard, and Crucible. So keep those tokens for that, definitely. Can we mention the words SRL? They said, consider it done. So no one knew if they meant, yes, you just mentioned it, or yes, we're considering bringing it back. Not sure. Again, play on words. They
said we're not doing that in Forsaken though.
Right, not with Forsaken. They've said that before. Like SRL is something that they liked and worked, but it's not, the focal point right now, which made sense. After Forsaken, seems like a lot of things are going to be in a good place for the players, right? So they can start focusing on things like SRL and maybe a tower card game. Maybe. Haven't said that in a while. Welcome back, Errol. All right, Infusion. This is an interesting one. Infusion depends on slot. So they've tweaked it a bit. Any type of weapon in the same slot you can infuse. So it's not based on weapon type anymore. So
you could put like a kinetic scout and use that for an auto rifle if you want.
Yeah, it'll cost more. And the cheapest way to infuse is a duplicate item. So basically, the more different the items are, if you will, the more it's going to cost. Kind of is what it sounds
Which
like.
I think is cool. That's a good way to make that work. Like if you just didn't have anything else, you could at least spend more and
I'm all for
a different
stuff costing, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I have like so many legendary thingies.
I know people weren't thrilled with like the shader cost, which is changing. But I'm fine with, like Infusion and stuff like that costing to do there being a choice. Okay, moving on. If you select a strike from the map, which we can do now after Forsaken, it will be match made. So you can actually go pick a specific strike and be match made with Fire Team. Strike exclusive loot. They said, yes, there will be. So we're hoping, since they use the wording strike exclusive loot, maybe we'll get what we used to have with individual strikes. But we're not certain yet if that means continued Nightfall strike specific loot or actual, like heroic strike specific loot. Armor badges. We've heard about them. You get when you get a complete set of armor, you will get a badge. Earning the badge unlocks triumphs, which will grant you titles. I'm interested. We still don't know fully how this is going to work.
Still not clear what the armor badge is.
Yeah, like, do you have to wear the full set to then get the triumphs, then to unlock the titles? There's several questions still. I mean, it's cool.
We're just going to have to see it.
They're trying to give us some sort of thing with sets, but I'm just, still unsure.
Yeah.
Adventures are being deployed differently, and you will have reasons to run them. Thank you. Dude, I've been doing adventures, my moments of triumph. I haven't done a lot of them, obviously, and they're great, dude. Like, we've been asking for a while, like even with the heroic ones we saw with Curse of Osiris and Warmind, like, give us reasons to run these little mini instances of things, right? So hopefully that's a cool implementation, at least for those. No changes to guided games. It's a definite no on the machine gun return for Forsaken. I know a lot of Guardians out there were hoping for machine guns again. Ammo synths are a no for now. Shaders can be applied to swords. Forgot you couldn't even do that. And the Cryptarch is where you can mass delete shaders, but only 5 at a time. So you can't actually delete a whole stack. But
hopefully it's just like a button press.
Yes. And
like not a hold X to delete, because that'll be just as aggravating.
Yes. Of course, with the collections and stuff, it'll be, once we get rid of all our shaders, it won't be too bad. Hopefully we don't have like 150 in it. I guess we could, but I did ask, dude, when I watched this, they asked them, will there be any like changes to the level of rewards from non-powerful engrams? So in other words, like something you don't get from a milestone, like say you would get right now. Right. And they like very hesitantly said no, like non-powerful legendary engrams won't seem more rewarding really. And I had to tweet, dude, because I'd been wondering this already and I assumed it to be the case, but again, I didn't want to assume. So I tweeted Steve and Scott, and Scott tweeted back, and I basically asked them, will these legendary engrams, these non-powerful legendary engrams, incorporate random rolls in any way? And it makes sense that they would. And he did tweet back and said, yes, drops of legendary engrams can have random rolls. So yeah, I'm like, well, change your answer for sure then, because that makes them definitely
and I think
more rewarding.
It's kind of like a loaded question, though.
Right?
But
they were focusing on power level increase.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is what they were
thinking. Saying rewards, but
right.
That's the whole thing of random rolls is that even if you're getting gear that's not more powerful, it has a greater value.
Right. Definitely.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Because you can
instantly,
get
I
a
mean,
different role.
I'm running public events and stuff, you know, and just this past reset
Yeah.
and you get a legendary Ingram and my brain has been ingrained since D2 launched. Like, I don't really care that I got that.
Yeah, they don't. They're just fodder. They're
Right.
just
Yeah.
mats
And to know like there's going to even be one perk on it that could be different makes them instantly more valuable.
And of course, you know, like that's going to change big time when this drops because everything from those, or not everything, but you're going to have a bigger loot pool, you know?
Yeah. It just
So
reminds me.
there's going to be a lot of new stuff to get from those. And
Reminds me of going back to the tower in D1, man, and just opening the decoding the engrams and seeing what you got.
Yeah.
And even if you were upset because you didn't get your roll, I gotta say, dude, did you see the follow-up tweet? Like, I was like, I was just sitting in bed. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. He said, Steve and I are playing Forsaken right now at our desks, and he made me reply to you. Like, you've got to be kidding me, dude.
wow.
You got to be kidding me. Like, I just tweeted back that I was super jelly. Anyways.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, yeah, playing Forsaken at their desks. I'm pretty sure it was like pretty late. At least it was into the evening. So these guys have probably already hit the super grind of a content release. I can't imagine. I have no idea how game development works. So, bravo, props. So, there you go.
Last in the news, Cosmo and DimG had some comments over on the DTG subreddit about power level. I didn't get this whole thing. Did you know
basically somebody asked, like, what's the point of even caring about 400 light level when the combatants, they assumed and thought, and I won't say, I kind of thought the same, like that they leveled with us. But so what is the point of getting 400 power level other than be kind of a head start when Forsaken launches? And Cosmo did say your power level actually does matter up to 20 power levels, if you will, over combatants.
Okay.
So it will matter if you do get this 400 level gear right now.
If you're doing something that's 385, you will continue to be more powerful up to 405, for instance.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. In other
Interesting.
words.
Okay. Good to know.
Yes. So that was cool. Little nugget there.
That does make a difference there, at least. Yeah.
And then legendary weapons. This is from DMG, I believe. Legendary weapons outside of raid weapons aren't infusible to 400. So just a heads up.
Right. If you get those raid weapons that are 400, if you dump it into a legendary, it's going to stay at 385.
Yes. And they said that people thought this was a bug or something at first, but this is intentional. So either keep that raid weapon or infuse it into an exotic weapon. An exotic weapon will go up to that new max light.
Yeah, you can make the exotics higher.
Yeah. So there you go. Just a little friendly.
That's the news.
Yeah.
So much.
We can't do it, man, but sometimes it just seems like we don't, it's hard to fit in time for our resets. We make them bullet points these days sometimes.
No kidding. Well, speaking of AER0KNIGHT, let me ask you, since you're back, how was your reset?
My resets, they were great. Vacation, I did actually take my PlayStation with me on vacation because we talked about this. I don't remember if it was on the show or off, but
just talking.
We stay up late usually, you know, so even on vacation, you know, there's typically Wi-Fi everywhere you go now. So if
especially on vacation, because everybody crashes early.
Yep. And you're still on like
so tired.
your late night routine. You're fine with a little bit of sleep. So I definitely fit in. I think I played one night. But my resets, man, I've been doing, of course I did the Whisper Quest. I mentioned that. A lot of my play's been since I got back. The reason for that I'll mention here in just a minute, but been working on my Moments of Triumph, did some like major competitive play. I believe Friday and Saturday night we played for a few hours in competitive. Man, dude, even at the glory rank, like matchmaking right now with no radar. And I'm really starting to become a proponent of bringing the radar back in some way, shape or form.
Oh yeah.
Like mini games, I've realized it's typically like modern shooter tactical SOCOM, Ghost Recon style of games, I like not having a radar. I like having that realism. But just after chatting with my fire team and playing comp a lot, dude, like something about no radar in Destiny just doesn't feel good. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a combination of many things, the time to kill right now, the weapon loadouts, or the slot system.
I think part of it is on console, you have a really narrow field of view.
And you have no time to react, right? I mean, there is the time to kill there, but it's, man, dude, I don't know what it is. You would think flanks would happen more often, this or that, but you just feel like you get blindsided so much that it comes to a point where it doesn't feel like you're just making bad decisions, right? It just feels like you just have no control. And I will say, like, the overall of the knights, we increased our glory rank, and I'm not saying 100% radar needs to come back. It's just I do miss it, and it feels good to have that awareness. I'm up for the challenge of trying to figure out what we're doing wrong, but we increased our glory, but to see it, like, we hit like a 3 or 4 game streak, and then we break that streak, and then we lose a few games, and then we see it like going back down to when we started the evening. It's like, man, it's just,
that's harsh.
But I had a night where I wasn't on point, man. I'm not playing Crucible as often as the trials days of D1, so I gotta just I gotta factor all that in and be open-minded. It's not just one thing. But anyways, I'm gonna keep at it because I really want that claymore, trying to get on point, get my shot on. So I wish I just had a bow. If I had a bow, I could bow land beyond it and maybe do a little bit more. Or just my NLB. But dude, the reason I didn't play a lot of Destiny on vacation, other than doing vacation things, was because I was playing the Octopath Traveler.
Man, that game's getting
demo
popular.
Yes, I actually have not bought the game. With all the stuff going on in Destiny, I did hold off. But you can download the demo on your Switch, and you can play for 3 hours. Okay. I'll just tell you right now, it's just enough time to make you pretty much want to purchase the game. Because you can play several different characters, and it's a turn-based RPG. A game like this I wouldn't have liked many, many years ago, but as I've gotten older, I enjoy these types of games, and I don't know why. I've become open to them, and you pick up companions. You start as a main character, and you will always be that main character, but you pick up companions as you play through the game. And I just made it, dude. I beat the storyline of my main character that I chose. I don't know for sure. There's like 8 characters. And then I could go do my thing out in the world, or I could go start to pick up these other characters to bring with me in my party. So I went to get this one that I had researched, had like a cool perk that came along with him. And dude, I made it to like the boss battle of his particular quest, and it lasted for like 15 minutes, like fighting this boss. It was the first kind of like legit battle I had, even over my character's boss. And it was the first multiple partied boss fight. And right when I got done with that, I knew it was coming too, because I saw my save file. I had like 2 minutes left. It's like, your time is up. Please look for the game, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, dude, I just want to keep playing this game. But I've held off. Like, I held off because, again, I'm feeling overwhelmed with Destiny, and I just have plenty to do. And I'm sure you'll talk about No Man's Sky, that massive next update came out.
What a beast of a game.
Dude, I bought No Man's Sky at launch. I enjoyed it at launch.
Right.
I think I was playing Destiny. I've always been playing Destiny, man. The other couple of updates came out. Went and read all those, like after 2 or 3 of those came out. Reinstalled the game, played it for a little bit, and then started playing Destiny. This one, dude, like I reinstalled, and I was telling you today, we were texting back and forth. I'm like, I'm realizing I'm always looking for this game to balance well with Destiny. And I really am like starting to feel like No Man's Sky might be that game. Like, you just log in, super chill, and you just explore, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I restarted a character. I'm not very far into it, but I'm definitely gonna spend some time with No Man's Sky, like no doubt. Anyways, you've been playing it,
man.
right? Like it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
released on
And
Xbox.
I held off. It was a game I was really intrigued by, but I held off, and I haven't gotten it. And it finally came out for Xbox with
Super cool.
With the next update, and so I've picked it up, and it, from comparing it to videos and just things that I've read and stuff, it seems really improved, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm mega hooked. Like,
Awesome.
It came out, and I think I've put like at least 15 hours into the game this week since it came out.
Dude.
So
That's awesome,
on top of like Destiny plays. So, dude, I've done so. I feel like I've accomplished so much in Destiny in the past 2 weeks. It's insane. Like, we did the Prestige, Eater of Worlds both weeks.
Nice.
We did Spire of Stars, Prestige this week. Got all the latent memories and got the World Line Zero done. Gosh, what else have I done? I did the Whisper thing several times last weekend, and done the Heroic both weeks, and did the Easter egg thing. I mean, it's just like a ton of stuff
Just knocking out
I've
the moments of
gotten done.
triumph.
Yeah, just like knocking everything out. But it's been really fun, and I'll have a lot of that stuff, the triumphs that were available. I'll have most of those done before reset happens. The only thing that I didn't finish yet was I have to finish getting all the world chests.
Yeah.
And I have about probably like 2/3 of those done. So that's like probably an hour of time and stuff. So
that's what I've
been
just scratched the surface of, dude. Is I got my to-do list of like the order I want to do them, and I'm just trying to just tick away at those several that I don't have done.
So yeah, I've been on it, man, and I got such a great. I'm still so satisfied with it. Last night when we finished the Spire of Stars Prestige, not only did we one them, which, well, not one phase Valkaor, but I got in the final drop a 400 what's the hand cannon?
Midnight?
Now I can't even.
No. Yeah, Midnight
Coup.
Dude, I still don't have that
400 Midnight Coup.
I want it.
I got the exotic emote, the lounge one.
Nice.
And then I got the raid exotic shell.
Oh wow,
that's
dude.
been eluding me for like months.
Dude, that's like the one moment of drops.
That's like mega. That's all my RNG for like the next month. Like, but I was happy because those were like, we were talking before, like while we were playing, about the raid shell, and I was like, I can't believe I still don't have that.
That's awesome.
And because one of my buddies that I raid with, 1 week he got it, and then the next raid we did, he got 2 to drop it once. So he's had it drop 3 times basically.
That's crazy.
And he was like, "Yeah, man, you could have one of my 3." And then it dropped when we finished. I was so happy, because I was basically like throwing in the towel and never getting it. But it's kind of ironic because short of, I think, having to do like Prestige Leviathan again for the milestones, like I'm not going to have to do much more raiding anymore.
Nice. Very nice.
So it's like that the bonuses on that shell are not going to help me much anymore.
Like, oh well.
I've got it.
Collector.
Yeah, I can show it off.
Cool though.
But I'm super excited for the Triumph stuff.
Yeah.
And the Solstice of Heroes, like, it looks really fun. I'm excited to play all that stuff. And after like grinding the raid and like all this prestige stuff for the past 2-3 weeks, like I'm actually kind of looking forward to just like doing these missions and doing some more low-key stuff that's not as intense for a little while, but still playing Destiny,
Yeah.
So
that's a good way to look at it, man.
It'll be fun.
I was going to say earlier, we'll say RNG resets every time a major expansion releases. So maybe you just used up all your RNG for post-Warmind.
Pretty much.
Hopefully.
I hope
Hopefully with
some
Forsaken
left for
drops,
Forsaken.
you'll start back at 0.
Oh, and you know what else I got? This was the other thing. I was happy that Tess finally sold the popcorn emote.
Oh yeah. I thought
I'm
about
waiting
getting
for.
that, dude, and I didn't. I had almost $6,000 in Bright Dust,
Yeah.
but I bought the Sunshot Catalyst. I bought like 4,000 worth of stuff, and I just didn't want to.
Wow.
I didn't want to spend it all on that popcorn emote as bad as I wanted.
That's the one thing I was waiting on to buy.
Really?
And it was like $32.50 Bright Dust or something.
Yeah.
It was expensive.
It was very expensive.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy like these other 2 or 3 things. Dude, I've been thinking recently this week, I'm still like bummed that I don't have the selfie emote, dude. We talked about
I
that.
can't believe that.
Dude, like I really want that thing. I hope there's some
They'll
way.
bring back a way to get that stuff eventually.
I hope so. I don't know.
I'm sure
that is
they will.
one thing I wanted, and it's fine if I never get it. That's part of it. But man, I hope there's another way to get that thing.
I hope so. I think they would at some point.
Yeah, that's a classic example of I would have spent real money to get that bad boy, but no real money in D2 so far. I think I spent a total like $5 or $10 in Destiny 1. So
that's not bad.
Anyways, all right, man.
Resets, so that was the resets. How about some quick Dirt Fam discourse before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, dude, that sounds good. We got a couple of emails. This one we've actually had just a little bit. I don't believe we've read this one yet. No. I wanted to check with you, actually. I don't think we had. So,
no, we have not.
An urge to dance. We know that gamer tag. Sorry, it took us a little bit to read this one. We've been sitting on it a little while, and I think for a moment we thought maybe we already featured it on the show. But moving on, the subject of your email was Fun Raid Dirt Fam Discord. So this has probably been a little bit ago, but still a very cool email, and we appreciate it. It says, "Hey Dirt Fam, just wanted to give a shout out to a few Guardians that gave me a good time. I asked if anyone wanted to do a raid and got invited to do a fresh Eater of Worlds. Little did I know it was their first time ever doing Eater of Worlds, so I ended up teaching them. We all had a good time overcoming the challenges and laughing at failures, many of which were mine. So shout out to Fixed Gear, Alex Ventress, The Blonde Bell, Colonel Loki, and Jimmy3223. At the end of the day, had 5 new friends and a few more Guardians to play with, and urge to dance." Awesome. Those are
all those Guardians.
Exactly the kind of emails that we want. Please send more of those.
Yeah.
Love those stories. Dirt Fam stories.
Next up, we get an email from Cody, a.k.a. Coda Bear LS. He says, "Hey guys, love hearing about your resets every week. Just thought I'd share mine. This past week has been my favorite so far. I've made numerous friends through Destiny. Will continue to make more. What makes this week stand out is that my wife of almost 5 years has been slowly getting into Destiny. I've been playing since the D1 beta. She used to get annoyed, but one day decided to play. This summer, she's been building her character. Over the weekend, some of my friends have helped me teach her Leviathan and Argos. Now that she has done them, she is ready for Tuesday to do them again. She wanted to run them again, but I told her she wouldn't get any new items. It's awesome having friends on D2, but having my wife in my fire team has been a great new experience. She also hit rank 50 in 5 days." I think he's got to be referring to the faction rally. "Thank you guys for your weekly podcast. Looking forward to listening tomorrow." Xbox gamer tag Coda Bear LS. That's with a K.
Awesome.
Hey man,
that's cool.
I'm jealous that you got your wife to play D2.
It sounds like more than play D2, hitting rank 50 in 5 days.
Yeah, no kidding. She's on the grind, man.
Big time. Awesome.
If my wife was playing that much, I'd be worried, because then I would. That would mean that I'm gonna have to let her game more and take more time doing other stuff that she's doing normally.
That's funny.
That sounds bad, but
hey, there's a balance, man.
Yeah.
We all have our hobbies.
All right, but thanks for the Dirt Fam discourse, guys. If you want to send us an email or a speak pipe, tell us about your reset, talk about something we talked about on the show, tell us an experience that you've had, you can send us an email at destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com or speakpipe.com/destinyreset.
Yes, please do. We got some new Dirt Fam shout-outs this week. Patron shout-outs. XX, CJ11XX, and Exosmith6. Thank you, Guardians, so much.
Thank you guys for becoming patrons. If you don't know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/destinyreset, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. If you do that, you get a couple perks. You get a shout out on the podcast. You get your gamer tag posted on our website, and you get an invitation to our Discord channel just for Derp Fan patrons and supporters.
Yes. Thank you, Guardians.
Yeah. All right, man. Great show. Great to have you back.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much. I missed you, buddy. It's just
missed
part of
you
the
too.
week
We'll have
at this point to talk about Destiny together.
Yeah. And we've got some fun shows to look forward to this month.
We do. Yes,
so it'll be good to have you back for more than 1 week.
Yes. Thanks again for covering, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Don't worry, I'll take some time off too.
Yes. I was just about to say that, dude. You gotta fit in that vacation time, right?
Yeah, it'll be coming this year.
Yep.
Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you, man?
Perfect. You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and Mixer. Finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter and the World Wide Web at www.destinyresetpodcast.com. It's your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe to us in your favorite podcast app of choice.
Very cool. Why don't you, I heard your little challenge last week for the iTunes reviews. Well, it worked. So why don't you do these shout outs, man, and remind people. Case. We're like 184 now. Very nice.
Yeah. So I want us to get to 200 reviews in Apple Podcasts by Forsaken release date. And you guys definitely went and did some reviews for us. So if we can get to 200, I'm going to give away a whole bunch of merch that I have laying around. See, when I buy Destiny stuff, sometimes I buy like 2 or 3 things.
He does.
And I've been doing that for a while, and I literally have like
I can
box
this. He does this
of just stuff, of extra things, just brand new Destiny merch, some of which is hard to find. Mm-hmm. And so if we can get to 200, I'm going to give some of this stuff away.
A couple of these reviews are new ones from the UK store as well. So if there's any of you others out there, give us a holler. But yeah, dude, you lit a fire under these Guardians here.
Yeah, and I'll come up with a way. Basically, if you've done a review, you'll be entered.
Yes,
we'll do something like that. Either that, or we'll just do like a Gleam thing where you can come and enter. Or, I don't know. We'll figure it out. First thing you gotta do is get us to 200. Okay, guys.
And then we go from there.
And then I'll give some stuff away.
That activates the next phase of the quest.
Yes, that is how the quest progresses. So thank you for your iTunes reviews. Plasma Man 6336, XX Chupathing XX, Derezed Glitch, CJ11, Barry the Poisoner, Pigeon with 2 N's. It's Mr. Gandalf and Lewis Left Boot. What a great bunch of names.
And yes, for anyone that doesn't know, I think I've said this before. In iTunes, you can actually go to your settings and set yourself up a username. It doesn't.
Yeah, you can have like a moniker. It doesn't have to be.
Yes, as you can tell from many of these.
And you can just leave Guardians. Stars if you like to.
Yes, you can do that. So
yeah, so please, we appreciate your honest reviews on Apple Podcasts. Please leave those for us.
Thank you, Guardians.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, dude. Another real one, closer and closer to Forsaken, but we've got a lot to do this reset and for the next month, man. So plenty to talk about as well. Yeah. All right, dude. Great to be back. And of course, until next week, have fun playing Destiny 2 and take care, Guardians.